So I just got back from speaking at the Great Lakes Builder Show today, and the title of my talk was, How Bad Do You Want It? How Bad Do You Want It? And it was kind of building off of a new idea, new thought that I had that you may have heard in an audio I recorded, but I wanted to kind of take a few minutes to build on the thought. So what is it, right? How bad do you want it? It is your ideal business slash, like how I do that? Slash life. Your ideal business slash life. Okay? So it's some deep thoughts here. And I was talking to, let me tell you a story that might kind of hammer home the point. I was talking to one of my clients recently, somebody that has been in business for 10 or 12 years, and last year really got serious with, I want to really work on the business side of this. I want to build systems and processes and really build this up. So we've been working on things like from the initial phone call. What questions do we ask? What's our process on an initial phone call? How do I really start to build know, like, and trust with them? How do I qualify them so that I'm not running out on every single job? What are all the questions I ask? Can I actually get into talking about what they're looking to invest in the project on the initial phone call? What should I send out between that initial phone call and the first in-person meeting to continue to show that I have a process, a system, that I'm organized, and build that know, like, and trust? We started working on that. We worked on his sales process, his sales pipeline. So being very clear and having a system so that with a click he can see the proposals he needs to work on. With a click he can see who's in his done proposal for, haven't signed buckets, and getting that really organized so that he can follow up better. We talked about what happens at the end of the project, getting out a end of job survey, getting out an email newsletter month in, month out. So we've been working on that stuff. That parlayed into also working on some of the financial side of the business. So his job costing, something he hasn't really paid much attention to in the past. Really getting clear with his job costing. For the first time, we put together a business budget. So when you look at 2016, we went through and prepared a full business budget. So he's got a game plan for the year. And what this started to move towards is, okay, now that we're starting to get some processes, systems in place, you're feeling more organized, what does the 1-year plan for this business look like? What does your 2-year plan for this business look like? And we started to talk about that, and I threw out an idea, and I said, what about if you started to just take Fridays off and let that kind of percolate a little bit? And I said, what if, and I know you have somebody coming in for like 20 hours a week right now, and they just come in 2 days a week, and they help you with some of your QuickBooks work and invoicing work and payroll. What if you had somebody in your office every day for 5 hours? What are some of the things that you could take off your plate and delegate to them? What's 20% of the work you're doing now that you could delegate to that person? And I just wanted him to start to think about this a little bit. And I could hear in his voice of, first of all, going, I could take Fridays off, really? It just seems so not feasible right now. I'm so busy. There's so much work to do. There's so many projects to manage. There's just so many balls in the air. But as he was getting organized, I was allowing him to start to think about this part of his business and designing his business the way that would be ideal for him. So how bad do you want it? It being very clear with what the ideal business slash life looks like. Okay, so hopefully you follow me there. And with this particular client, I could hear, that's interesting. And about a week later, I talked to him again, and he was saying, man, some of the stuff that we were talking about, I've been thinking about that. I guess I never really thought that those things were possible. And I guess, I could take some of my profit and maybe invest it in my business to delegate more work so that, I may be able to take some Fridays off, or I may be able to focus on the work that I really need to be focused on instead of that $10 an hour work that just keeps me busy, busy, busy. So your it. What I want you to figure out is, what is your it? So your it, and I have some notes over on this screen right here. By the way, this is a new office I'm in upstairs in the building, and some of you may be interested to know I have one of these stand-up, sit-down desks. Like, it looks like I'm moving right now, but I'm just sitting here, going up and down with this desk. It's pretty slick. From IKEA, as a matter of fact. So my big fat desk wouldn't fit up the stairs, so I got this fancy desk. I'm liking it. Anyways, so what is your it? Your it may be growing your business. Why? Maybe you need more profit. You just want to take home more profit for you and your family. Maybe it's doing less of what you don't like and more of what you do like. Maybe it's building out a little bit more of a team so that you can wow your clients. Instead of just giving them kind of a, hey, I'm satisfied, you really wow your clients. Maybe you want to swing the hammer. Maybe you've built a business up where that love that you had for being on the field and doing the work, you've lost that because now you just have this business to run. Maybe your goal is one day a week to swing the hammer again. Maybe your goal is to understand your financials inside and out so that you don't have this constant pit feeling in your stomach about, oh, there's money coming in, there's money coming out, I don't know. Seems like I have good cash flow, but boy, what other bills do I have? This constant churn in your stomach. Maybe that's your it. Your ideal business is to understand your financials better than anything. Maybe you want to be a better salesperson so you feel more comfortable and more confident. You qualify more leads. You differentiate your business more. Maybe it for you, your ideal business / life, is taking on just ideal clients that really value what you do. Maybe it's saying no to non-ideal projects and just doing what you do. All right, now let me broaden this a little bit more, and this is where it gets deep. Maybe it, as far as your it for your business, for designing your business / life, the perfect, the ideal business / life, maybe your it is designing your business so that it's not taking up so much of your time so you can be a better and incredible husband or wife. Maybe your it is stepping up your game as a father or mother instead of just going through the motions and designing your business and structuring your business and your life so you can devote more time to that. Maybe your it, your ideal business / life, is getting yourself healthy and putting some time and energy towards working out and eating better. Maybe it's spending more time in your faith, and opening up your Bible more often and consistently, or getting involved in a group, a small group. Maybe it's your ideal business / life is once a week sitting down and having breakfast or lunch or coffee or a beer with one of your friends, because you get energy from that. You get energy from helping that person, from listening to that person, from them giving you feedback, some accountability that happens, some camaraderie, some fun. Maybe that's your ideal business / life is more time and margin for that type of thing. Maybe you're at a stage in your life where you want to mentor somebody that's kind of 1 or 2 steps back from you, and you want to be a little bit more purposeful with mentoring somebody. Maybe it's investing more time in your hobbies. You want the boat to hit the water more often. You want to have not this business not feel so cumbersome to you that you don't have time for that. Maybe you want to volunteer more. Maybe you want to go on a missions trip somewhere and serve. Maybe you want to help with Habitat for Humanity. Maybe there's something local that you wish you want to get more involved in. Maybe it's taking 2 nice vacations each year. Instead of just sneaking away for 3 or 4 days, it's 2 nice vacations. What is your it? What is your ideal business / life look like? Okay, and the way that I want you to do this is go to Seddon, SEDDON, days.com. And this video is getting a little long, but I'm just going to keep rolling with it. Hopefully you guys are still listening. The questions that are asked on this seddondays.com will help you really articulate and write out and get clear with what your it is. Okay, and what this 7 days thing is, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version, is a mastermind group that I'm a part of that literally is worldwide marketers. There's a gentleman named Mike Seddon who is over in England. His focus was on Google AdWords. That was his specialty. And about a year or so ago, he approached the group and let us know that he was diagnosed with inoperable cancer, and that they were talking months, not years, as far as what he had left. And what came from that is something that Mike wanted to kind of leave as his legacy. Something that he was really good at was stepping back from the business and the work and the clients and all the minutia of business, and stepping back from time to time and fairly regularly to kind of look at things that matter. Right? Why do I do what I do? And I'm gonna have to pull this up just so I get these correct. Yeah. Why do I do what I do? What does success look like? That's really what we're talking about when we're trying to define it. Am I enjoying the journey? Is all of my hope just in, well, when my business gets to this part, then I'll be happy? Are you enjoying the journey of it? Am I hanging out with the right people? If you're hanging around Negative Nancy and Whiny Bill and nothing wrong with Nancy and Bill, those are 2 of my clients. Nancy is one of my clients in Connecticut, and I would say she's anything but negative. And I have several clients that are Bill who are actually upbeat, very positive people. So I use those 2 names, but if you're watching, it was not personally directed at you. But who are you hanging out with? Are you hanging out with people that are just constantly nagging and whining and complaining? There's that saying that goes, you are going to be the sum of the 5 closest people you're hanging out with. You know, so that question of, am I hanging out with the right people, or do I need to change that? And then what would happen to my loved ones if I go out there, you know, out there in the street and get hit by a truck? You know, what would happen to my loved ones? So those questions, it's SEDDON days, DAYS.com, are questions that you can be asking to try to get really clear with what your it is. So this is kind of some deep business strategy, life strategy, and how this all blends together. When we're just kind of coasting through and just kind of taking each day and rolling with the waves and don't really have a plan or a goal set up, man, we can look up and it's 12 months later and you haven't been doing squat to improve your marriage. You haven't been doing squat to focus more on your hobbies. You haven't been doing squat to improve your business so that it's not running you, but you're running it. You know, there's no growth. So this, how bad do you want it? That it is what I wanted to explain in this video. And then there's actually an audio that that kind of ties into this, I think, pretty well, which is the second part that says whether you, the determining factor if you're going to achieve it, that ideal balance, that ideal business life, or not achieve it, really comes down to how bad do you want it. How bad do you want it? You know, are you going to put in the time, the effort, the energy? Are you going to be consistent? Are you going to set up accountability or hire coaches or whatnot to help you along with it? Are you going to not just get excited about it for 10 days and then fall back from it and get back to where you're at? Are you going to buckle down and really focus so that you can achieve it? That's all I got to say. This is a long video. It's 11 minutes and 45 seconds. So if you're watching it still, this obviously resonates with you. And if you want to talk a little bit more about it, let's do that. But I wanted to kind of capture this energy and this passion I have for this topic. I presented it this morning to a group of remodelers, and I wanted to capture it while it was still real fresh in my mind. And hopefully it's helpful to you. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.